Happy New Year, everyone. We're back. Giojackson show, as always, after the freaking intro. How's it going, my beautiful people? It's your boy Gio Jackson back again with another Gio Jackson show. And start off, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everyone. 2025, we're here. Hopefully, as always, the goals are ready. The year starting off great for everyone. Whatever you guys got going on, I know you guys always take care of it. But how's everyone doing today? Happy Tuesday. Um, how's the resolutions going? We'll get into that later. Uh, but I hope everyone's doing good. I hope everyone enjoyed their time off, holidays with the family, friends. Um, we move, hopefully 2025 brings a lot more excitement, brings a lot more, whatever, just the best to everyone. I hope 2025 brings that. I wish nothing but the best for everyone. Whatever you like, I always say, whatever you guys got going on, you conquer, you succeed, you do what you do because I know everyone is strong and is the best. And I love every single one of you guys. But we're here, another show. Let's jump right into it. So it's over, guys. Niners fans, it's over. It's over. We move forward. The pain, it's done. We get to finally just be happy, enjoy football. 49er season, it's over. The painful season of misery is over, which started, you could say, almost a year ago, losing the Super Bowl, and then the off season of hell, and the season of hell. But what went wrong? What went wrong with this team throughout this whole season? We've talked about it every single show. I've said what went wrong, all the things. Let's look back. Let's just look back and see what happened. How did this team go from overtime against the Chiefs, almost winning the Super Bowl, to being last in the NFC West, one of the worst teams in the NFL, with all this talent? Well, let's talk about it. Obviously, the throughout the seasons, right? We've heard the excuse of injuries. Brandon Ayuk, Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey, Dre Greenlaw, Purdy for like one or two games, Debo here or there. Yeah, it happens in the NFL. Every team gets injured. The Lions, they had a ton of injuries as well, but yet they're number one in the NFC on their way to possibly a Super Bowl. So that was one. I think Debo said it best in his podcast. After losing the Super Bowl, it's just hard to come back. It's hard to come back, and we talked about it. How will they handle the Super Bowl hangover? I'm sure it's daunting. It was daunting throughout the whole season for them to not only just start from zero, try to get to the top again, but do it. This would have been the fourth year in a row, right? Because they went to two NFC championships, Super Bowl. Is just tough. I'm sure it's tough. And no excuses. I'm the first one hard on this team. But if we, if you want to really think about it, I'm sure that's what happened. They were just mentally exhausted. Back to back seasons of, playing all the way till the end of January. And they finally caught up. Also, this team is a lot older than it was a couple years back, obviously. Just all that, the drama with Ayuk, Trent Williams, and all the drama bits and pieces that went on this season. Now we look forward to next season, right? We got the 11th pick, and I hope the Niners, they're able to build up the trenches, build up the O line, D line. That's what we lacked. And I'm not saying the O line was horrible because it wasn't. We had bright spots. We had Dominic Pini, our rookie O lineman. He was great. McKivitz, you can say, I mean, he's not the best, but he wasn't his fault most of the time. It was usually Brendel. It was mostly Brindell. But I think the I think what a lot of Niners fans wanted to see this season was Brock Purdy, and if he can really put this team on his back, if he can really uplift the players around him and make them better to warrant that $60 million a year or whatever the price tag is going to be. And I felt like this season we just got more unanswered questions. There's the debate right now. I feel like Niners fans are 50-50. Some say pay him. He's been to a Super Bowl. He's played good. This was a off year. He was missing pieces, and that's why he didn't play as good, blaming the old lineman, right? The other half is like, we've been through this before. We've been through the Jimmy G era, and what that could be, what that could look, how everything has to go right around him in order to be successful. Even Jimmy G, if he played a full season, he at least always had a winning record. And I can't believe I'm. And look, Brock Purdy is a way better quarterback than Jimmy G. I will say, but the stats are there. I mean, Jimmy G full season, he always had a way. He always figured out a way to win. But I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I'm comparing Brock Purdy with what people are saying. Right, the 60 million. Is he worth it? Now, like I said, like I've been saying, I don't think he's worth 60 million, and I think it will hinder this team if we pay him that much, because I feel like Brock Purdy, nor if we want to win with him, we have to have the Avengers around him. Definitely. We have to have everything go right, and he's able to flourish. But that's going to warrant him taking a little less. And so now the question to him is going to be, does he want to win or does he want to get paid? And I got a comment here. Let's see. Niners had a window and now it's closed. They're about to pay Purdy over $55 million a year. I'll get into this, George, because yes, I believe the window is closed because Debo's washed. We need 10 forwards. We need 10 running backs, Alberto. That is true because Patrick Taylor Jr. this past game, I feel like anyone can flourish as a running back with Kyle Shanahan, but yet he never like alternates them. And that's what, like I said, last season, I remember saying we should play Mason more. He should be a 1-2 punch with McCaffrey. We can save McCaffrey. And we saw what Mason was at the beginning of the season. Then he got injured. Then Garendo stepped up. And then we saw this past weekend, Patrick Taylor Jr., he got like 100 yards. And it's like, I feel like, honestly, at this point, any running back could succeed in this offense. But I was saying the same thing about Mason. Yeah, like, why not? Why not, Kyle, the genius? But anyways, but yes, I do believe this window is closing. Like I said, Debo, older, washed. We now are at the point where we actually don't have to pay Purdy, right? He has one more year. He could sit out, but we are getting to that, where we're going to have to make a decision to pay or not to pay. That is the question, right? Trent Williams is going to be older, coming from injury. Brandon Ayuk most likely will be back November, December. So we're not going to have him, man. We don't know if he'll be 100% when he does come back. But there is bright spots. This rookie class, like I said, Pooney, Renardo Green, he is going to be Charvarius Ward's replacement because obviously we have Lenore. Renardo Green, he balled. Malik Mustafa, our safety, he balled. Even Ricky Pearsall, these past couple games, man, he looks like a weapon. He looks like we can make it work. So there is some bright spots, but Greenlaw, the big news, which I have here, right? The big news is Greenlaw. There's been, I believe it was Fred Warner's wife. She posted something saying that, I guess obviously she's probably friends with his girlfriend, wife, whatever, Dre Greenlaw's, and they had like a final goodbye party for Greenlaw. What does that mean? Obviously, free agency doesn't start till March. Teams can't talk to players. Technically, right now, that would be considered tampering. But maybe Greenlaw knows that the Niners aren't going to offer him a new contract. That's a big loss, man. And I think he's just as I could I even say that he's just as good or better than Fred Warner? I feel like Greenlaw brings more. I think he's the beat, the engine, the one that brings the leadership to this team, how he plays, how he hits. He might not be here. That's one. Obviously, Charvarius Ward. What happened this season to him, like I said, tough to lose a kid. Can't imagine. And he said on his exit interviews that it would be tough for him to come back because being in California reminds him of what happened. And hey, man, you got to do what you got to do. First comes your mental health. And hey, he was a great Niner. He balled out for us. And it's just unfortunate what happened. But like I said, that's a big loss too. What are we going to do with Huff? He's up for a contract. Are we going to resign him? Are we going to go with Mustafa and Jair Brown, who Jair Brown's been up and down this season? More questions. Bosa, say what you want. At one time, he was the defensive player of the year, a monster, but did he have the best of seasons this past season? The leadership was lacking. Did we see the best of Nick Bosa already? Look at his brother. Ever since he got paid, he's been injured. He hasn't been the same. We're going to have to find a partner for him on the other side. So that we need to figure out holes. There's going to be a bunch of holes in this defense. And Moody. I'm telling you, Chidi, if you're watching, just be our kicker, man. Look at Aubrey. Look at, I believe, the Lions kicker. He used to play soccer too. He's balling. I think the way to go is you play soccer and then you become an NFL kicker. That's the way to do it. But Moody, man, he just does not. You look at him, his face, he just doesn't bring me confidence, man. Even for extra points, I'm like, oh, is he going to make it? Like, I'm watching extra points. Before, extra points used to be, all right, I'm going to go get a beer. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to go get something. But now it's like with Moody, I got to be like, all right, we scored a touchdown. Is he going to make the field goal? I mean, the extra point, and he'd be missing sometimes, bro. So, but yeah, he got to go. Niners about to go scout earthquakes this offseason. I'm telling you, like, I can do it. I can be the Niners kicker. Trust me. Anyways, there's a lot of questions with this team. We fired our, obviously, special teams coordinator. Our special teams been ass. He's gone. Defensive coordinator Sorensen, he might likely be gone. And there's some candidates out there. There's obviously Robert Saleh. There's I think they want Jeff Ulbrich from the Jets. Kyle wanted him this offseason. He got fired, so he's available. There's, I believe, Gus Bradley. He got released somewhere. So there's candidates out there, but the Niners like to run this wide nine defense, which is and we've noticed this. Teams run all over this team because when they play the wide nine, obviously their defensive line is widened, leaving holes in the middle, which teams take advantage of. To play the wide nine, our defensive linemen have to be very athletic, and it worked. It worked before when we had who? Prime Armstead, Prime Buckner, a rookie Bosa, and D Ford. Then we had right there Fred Warner, a young Dre Greenlaw. Obviously, the best of the best at their best. Worked. But now teams have learned. Teams don't use the wide nine. So does Kyle maybe have to let this defensive coordinator just bring his own philosophy? I think it's time for some change. It's time for some change in general for the Niners. We can't just keep saying run it back, run it back. A lot of people are saying next season everyone's going to come back healthy and it's going to magically improve. I don't think so. This team's older. I think they just need a new spark. And like I said, the good thing about this season is all the young players that emerged. And we will see what the Purdy saga is. In my honest opinion, humble, honest opinion, I believe they're going to pay Brock Purdy. I do. I think this team just likes the person he is. Say what you want about him, right? We have his critiques, but at his core, man, he is a great leader. He is accountable. He does play his butt off. He tries his very, very freaking best, and you cannot take that away from Purdy. It's just le falta the clutch genes. There's been opportunities for him this season to win games, and he's turned the ball over. Niners fans have has Brock Purdy ever had a game winning touchdown? It's always been game winning field goals, or it's been a blowout, or it's been running behind McCaffrey. But as Brock Purdy had that signature, we're down, we need to score a touchdown, and he does it. I think the only signature game, which was a big one, was the NFC Championship, where we came back, right? We were down and he put the team on his back. He made some clutch plays. I will give him that game. Other than that, which other game comes to mind that he took over and came back? We all forgot about Ayuk. Unfortunate injury that happened with Ayuk. Like I said, the drama I spoke on there earlier about the offseason. Both sides are at fault. Ayuk for making it public, but also the Niners for, as they always do, letting contracts run to the last hour. Where if they would have took care of it earlier, he would have been there for OTAs, mini camp, training camp. He could have still got injured. It could have still happened. So I think for Ayuk, yeah, making it public was kind of bad on him. But I mean, the injury, man, it could have happened. I mean, it's an unfortunate injury, and this is why he did sign the contract. Because let's say he didn't sign the contract and he got this injury, he would have lost a majority of that money. So I can't fault him for that. Hopefully, he comes back better than ever next season. I still think he's our best receiver. I think him with Jennings and Pearsall, I think that's the way to go for the future. I think Debo's time with the Niners, it is up. Last thing to wrap up Niners, because I know most of you guys love Niners, big Niners fans here, Niners community, but what do the Niners need to do to be that team, dominant team that they were the past couple of years? And it starts with this draft. It starts with drafting in the trenches, I believe, either going O-line, D-line. I know I've been saying that they should go for like a Genti, but I've heard this draft is full of running backs. So I think the priority is going to be protect. If we're going to pay Purdy, we need to protect Purdy. We need to build an amazing O-line. Let's look at the Eagles. Brock Purdy and Hurts, very similar. If you think about it, they're very similar. Everything has to be good around them in order for them to flourish. The Eagles, they knew that. They got in Barkley. We have McCaffrey, but they got in Barkley. They got an amazing O-line. They have A.J. Brown. They have Devontae Smith. They have a good tight end. As long as he doesn't make mistakes, gets the ball to his playmakers, they're good. They could go to the Super Bowl. And I think we should do that as well with Brock Purdy. Just give him a solid, just stop bargain, like trash diving, bargain bin, O-lineman. Let's just invest in this O-line. We have Trent Williams. We might just have him for next year, maybe 2 years, but he's up there. Let's get him another tackle. Let's get him an amazing center. We have Pooney. Let's get him another guard. Let's just protect him. Let's make life easier for Purdy if we're going to pay him, because he's going to be our franchise quarterback. So that's another thing. Then the D-line. This D-line needs to be dominant, because that was our bread and butter when we were good. A good D-line, because I think we have an amazing secondary. Deommodore Lenoir should have been a Pro Bowler. He's probably going to be an All-Pro. Him with Renardo Green, Mustafa, and whatever safety we can get. If it's Huff, if it's Jair Brown, it's just going to make life easier. If there's a way they could sign Dre Greenlaw, do it. If not, I'll have confidence in D Winters with Fred Warner, and we'll figure it out. Maybe draft another linebacker. We're able to develop linebackers. But that, I feel, is what needs to be done to improve. Kyle also has to improve. Kyle has to. This is a big year for Kyle coming up next. Obviously, he's still going to be on the team, but if he has another shitty year like this year, then the seat will be hot. Then questions will finally be asked of this man, who I believe has been the one that has, you could say, not lived up to the hype of being an offensive genius, been the one that has set us back multiple times. Yes, he is great. Yes, he is a genius. He is a revolutionary, but I think it's time for him to come up with something new, to rejuvenate himself, maybe the time off, the extra time off. My boy looks older when he started to now. My boy looks like he don't sleep. Get some good rest, rejuvenate yourself, learn, see what you did wrong. So it's a big year for Kyle. But Niners, we'll talk Niners all off season. I'll leave it at that. Niners fans, enjoy these playoffs, stress free, and we'll be back. We'll be back. Now, as for the rest of the NFL, obviously, this weekend, we're it's like another season, the playoffs. This is where if the fun begins, real football starts. Um, there's some interesting matchups. But before I get there, let's give some awards. So obviously the NFL season is over. Um, so let's give awards. And I believe the first we'll start off with MVP. MVP, it's been a two-man race. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. And for a long time, I said Josh Allen, the way he's played, the way he's carried his team, the plays he's made. But Lamar too. Lamar, I believe he's only thrown like 4 picks. And not just he's thrown the ball well, he's ran the ball well. He's carried his team. And yes, his team doesn't have a better record than the Bills, but they also play in a tough division. Steelers, Bengals, even the Browns. They just that division is probably the toughest division in the NFL. So I think the NFL is going to give it to Josh Allen, but I think Lamar has had the better season, and I think that Lamar should be back-to-back MVP. Now, Lamar, it is time to show up in the playoffs. Lamar is an amazing player. Lamar is electric, is probably how you would make a creator player. Pero lo que le ha faltado is a signature playoff win, a Super Bowl. And I think this is going to be the year. Obviously, Mahomes is still there. The Chiefs are there, but Lamar, and I forgot to mention Derrick Henry. The defense is playing better. I think they get it done. They get it done. So I'm giving my vote for MVP to Lamar. Now, most improved player. I mean, he didn't have the best of games this past Sunday night, but hey, Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, he went from him, and that was crazy as the Panthers had Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. Then he was Purdy's backup, right? And a lot of Purdy fans have been saying, oh, because of Purdy, Sam Darnold has improved, but hey, you got to give it to him. I think most improved player this season has to be Sam Darnold for what he's done. 14-3 with the Vikings. No one thought the Vikings were going to be this good. Obviously, he has Justin Jefferson. He has Addison, Aaron Jones, TJ Hawkinson came back. And I'm going to have to give it to him most improved now. I still have my doubts, especially this past Sunday night game where part of me was like, man, can he really pull it off and be the number 1 seed and beat the Lions? He went to the red zone like 4 times and couldn't get a touchdown, just field goals. You got to get touchdowns if you want to make it far, and he wasn't able to. He's going to go up against Matthew Stafford, experienced team. I've already won the Super Bowl. I'll give my predictions later, but I'm going to have to give most improved to Samuel Darnold. Offensive player of the year. There's obviously MVP is a quarterback award, but offensive player of the year, there's only one man. What an amazing season he had um, for the Eagles. What sucks, you know what? What sucks was I believe he was what 100, maybe like 105 yards away from breaking the rushing record, like the all-time rushing record. And the Eagles decided to let him. They didn't play him the last game. I think they should have. Obviously, they're thinking about the playoffs, having him ready to go. But I mean, he was 105 yards away from making NFL history, from being written in the record books for the rest of his life. Why not give him the chance? Like if it's the second half and he's only gained 10 yards, but yeah. But like give him the opportunity. Like I wish they would have done that, but I think he was definitely the offensive player of the year. Um, I don't think there was anyone else. I mean, Derrick Henry, he was in the mix at the beginning. He was in the mix, but nah, Saquon. Saquon had an amazing season. Now, defensive player of the year, many candidates, right? We have Myles Garrett, but the Browns didn't have the best of season. Trey Hendrickson from the Bengals. Um, but don't you guys feel that, I don't know, maybe I'm missing a big one. Like defense, there hasn't been like that big defensive player like, oh yeah, he deserves it. TJ Watt, I feel like he's always up there. Um, but I don't know. Maybe someone. There hasn't been a lot of like corners that have had many picks this season. So I think Fred Warner was starting off great, but then obviously they're not going to give it to Fred Warner. I guess you can say Chris Jones just because he's on the Chiefs and they're 15-1 and he's always very dominant. But we'll see who they give it to. I don't know. I just felt like defense this past season hasn't been that one player that has shined. I guess you can go Myles Garrett, most likely, or TJ Watt. Those would be my choices. Now, rookie of the year. It got interesting, right? It is Jaden Daniels. What he's done this season for a rookie to come in, especially to the Commanders. They went like 4-12 last season, and to turn that team around, they're in the playoffs now. His first year with only Scary Terry and Brian Robinson Jr. and the older Zach Ertz. He's definitely the rookie of the year. But Malik Neighbors, he had a great season. Ladd McConkey had a great season. Um, Brock Bowers, he broke the record for like most catches for a rookie in general, not just like as a tight end, but like as a receiver. The Raiders, they got basically a Hall of Famer now. Let's see, if they can figure out that quarterback position. But it sucks that most. I mean, it doesn't suck, but I think Jaden Daniels is very deserving of the award. But Brock Bowers should be up in consideration as well for what he did. And like I said, these rookie receivers, Neighbors and Ladd McConkey, but it's up there with Bowers and Jaden Daniels. As for quarterbacks, hey, I will even say this rookie class was pretty good. Bo Nix, obviously Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, he had his flashes. He wasn't, a lot of people said he was horrible. He wasn't that bad. He had flashes. And Michael Penix Jr. Michael Penix Jr., the last couple games he played with the Falcons, they got something there, especially him and the connection with Drake London. So fantasy-wise next season, Drake London might be the pick. Might be a good solid pick. But those are my awards. Now we come to playoff. Obviously, the meat of this conversation, the playoffs, and what I think is going to happen. So I'll start off with the Texans Chargers. Texans, they made it obviously to the playoffs, but CJ Stroud hasn't had the best of seasons. Could CJ Stroud have one of those signature playoff games when it matters? If he is that guy, it could happen. I could see it. They have a solid defense with D'Amico. They have, they do have Mixon. They've lost a couple receivers. Um, but I'm gonna go with Jim. I'm gonna go with Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers. Justin Herbert, man, the disrespect this guy gets. There was people telling me last season that they would take Brock Purdy over Justin Herbert. I've always been a Justin Herbert fan. If you've watched this show religiously, you know I've always glazed that man. I just think, man, he just hasn't had a team around him. Last season had a horrible defense, and now this season he only has Quinn and Johnson. He does have J.K. Dobbins, but that's pretty much it. They did help him with the O line, but man, if Justin Herbert was in the Niners somehow, like I would trade Brock Purdy, a first round pick, Debo. I'll drive them myself to the airport to pick up Justin Herbert. But anyways, I think the Chargers, they beat the Texans and they move on. Jim Harbaugh's first season, we all know what Jim Harbaugh is. Obviously as Niners fans, we love Jim Harbaugh. So I'm going Chargers. Next, Ravens, Steelers. Now, on paper, people will say, oh, Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, they're at home. Easy. No. This game, this is a tough game. This is going to be probably the most even game of them all. These teams know each other. They play each other twice a year. And like they sometimes play each other in the playoffs. I believe not so long ago, they did play each other in the playoffs. And I believe the Steelers beat them, right? Or something like that. Now, Russell Wilson, he didn't end the season well. He hasn't been that good. George Pickens, he's been dropping a lot of balls. Pause. I think it's going to be a tough game. The Steelers' defense is always good, but I believe this is the start of Lamar's magical run. He already beat them. He already beat them finally. He's going to do it again in the playoffs when it matters. Take that monkey off his back and continue to that Super Bowl one. So I'm going Ravens. Chidi, I'm sorry. If they lose, I know I'm gonna hear it. You can come next. If the Steelers beat the Ravens, next show, you can dunk on me. You can tell me how wrong I was, cry more, but I'm going Ravens. I'm sorry. Last game for AFC side is Bills versus Broncos. Bills and Buffalo. Broncos, they've had a great season with a rookie quarterback, Sean Payton. But the Bills, I mean, like I said, Josh Allen's on fire. James Cook. I think they get it done. I think, like I said, I think the Bills and the Ravens, I think they're the ones that are going to meet. Is that possible? I think it's possible, but I'm going Bills. NFC, we start off with the Rams against the Vikings. Rams at home, but technically, is that really a home game for the Rams? I mean, LA ain't really a Rams. They're not really Rams fans. I mean, there's probably legit maybe 10 Rams fans in LA. So I got the Vikings because they have a good defense with Brian Flores as defensive coordinator. The weapons they have, the Rams defense isn't really good. Can Matthew Stafford turn up with Puka and Cooper Kupp and have one of those legendary games? They could, but I think the Vikings take this one. Bucks Commanders. I just have a feeling. Even though the Bucks with Baker Mayfield's had a great season with Mike Evans and Bucky Irving. But I think the Commanders pull it off. They continue to fight one more week. I can see that. That's going to be my surprise. I don't know if it's really a surprise, but I'm going Commanders on that one. Eagles Packers. Packers lost to the Bears. They go in with an L into the playoffs. Last year, no one gave the Packers a chance against the Cowboys, and they were able to pull it off. But I think the Eagles pull it off. They're going to rely heavy on Saquon. They're at home. Those Eagles fans are going to be crazy. So I believe the Eagles come through. So I'm going Chargers, Ravens, Bills, Vikings, Commanders, Eagles. Not a lot of controversy there, I would say, but we'll see how I do next week. And then I'll recap next week's matchups. Now, your guys' questions. I had a couple of football ones that I missed, but best Drake Greenlaw moment in honor of his alleged departure. Gotta be 2019. I was there. Then you were there as well. When Drake Greenlaw, it was that the Niners were undefeated going up against Seattle with Russell Wilson. And yes, Seattle ended up beating us because we couldn't score a field goal. But I remember Drake Greenlaw, I think it was overtime, right? Russell Wilson was leading his team. They're about to score, and Drake Greenlaw picks him off, almost runs it all the way. I think that's because I was there in that stadium. That's one of my fondest Drake Greenlaw memories. But last year, his pick of Jordan Love too, and him running it, and we're all like, "Dude, get down!" Screaming at the top of my lungs, "Get down, get down!" Because I didn't want him to fumble. That's a good one. When he fought the Eagles, what's that guy's name? Their security guard. That was funny too. But I would say against Seattle when he had that pick. I'm gonna miss him if he does leave. Thoughts on the Raiders firing AP? So, just in general, right? Obviously, the Raiders didn't have the best of season, but también, I mean, obviously, you guys know I do not like the Raiders, but let's take my bias out. They didn't give them. They didn't really give them a chance, right? Like, who did the Raiders have? Is just Brock Bowers. That was pretty much it. Brock Bowers and Max Crosby. They lost Devontae Adams. Well, Devontae Adams just gave up and didn't want to be there. I don't think they had a running back, right? I don't remember their running backs. I think they had like Abdullah. Their top receiver was Jacoby Myers. So then how did they expect him to succeed, right? He can only do so much. But that's the thing, right? With I don't want to, I don't want to get into this political thing, but these minority coaches, you kind of just get 1 year, and if you don't pull through, they don't really give you a shot. Same with Gerard Mayo and the Patriots. George, I don't know if you're still here. I don't know if you agree. I don't know what your thoughts are on Gerard Mayo, but they gave him 1 year, and they didn't really give him much either. Yes, they found Drake May, but around him, I mean, they have Drake May. I know you don't like Christian Gonzalez, but he was pretty solid. But they didn't really give him a chance. They didn't really give him much. They didn't really give him, all right, let's try. We're gonna have they potentially could have the number one pick, but we're gonna give you the draft, free agency. Let's see what you really got, right? And maybe he wasn't ready. But him, countless coaches, minority coaches, they just get 1 year. And if they don't pull through, then they do the whole, well, I guess you weren't ready, right? And even the whole Rooney rule. I don't know if you guys are familiar. So right now, you're going to hear this a lot. There's teams have to interview a minority coach. They have to meet the Rooney rule. And the question always arises, are these coaches being interviewed because they deserve it or to fill a checkbox? And I feel like in the working world, sometimes you get that, oh, we have to interview minority candidates just so we don't look like we're the R word. And I feel that doesn't do well for these coaches, because these coaches sometimes they do deserve it. They're really good coaches. D'Amico Ryans comes to mind. I mean, what Mike Tomlin has done all these years, like it does work out. But I mean, look at Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys. I mean, yes, they've had winning seasons, but the Cowboys always choke. They never make it far. They always find a way. And then my boy, he has a lifetime contract. Obviously, his contract's up, but the seat was never hot for him. That's one. I'm sure there's been. I mean, I'm not gonna say Kyle. I know Kyle's the big. Kyle, he's been good. He's been good, but his seat's never on fire either. I think the situations are different though. Pierce is a competent coach who knows what he's doing. Mayo look utterly incompetent from coaching to interviews. That is true. I mean, well, yeah, I'm going to go with your word because you're a fan. But I mean, you think he was given a fair shot, given all the tools to him? Why don't okay? Which I agree, George. When they hired him, I'm like, didn't I remember him being in the NFL not so long ago, and now he's a coach, right? Like, maybe take the steps, right? Defensive assistant, maybe linebackers coach, defensive coordinator, then head coach, right? I felt like they just kind of gave him the job, which, like I said, like you said, George, maybe he wasn't ready. And maybe this is a good learning experience, humbles himself, becomes a coordinator, maybe a positions coach, and learns from it. But I feel like other coaches, they've been giving chance after chance. What's one that comes to mind? I mean, the coach for the Giants. The Giants have not been good. He's been given chance after chance. I haven't heard that his seats on, that he's on the chopping block. I don't know. But as for the Raiders, I mean, it is what it is. Let's see who's out there. Let's see what they go. Now that Tom Brady is a partial owner, let's see what he has in mind. We're probably going to get Vrabel, which I'm on board with. But if we don't, then why not give Mayo one more year? Or I mean, I guess George, you could see. Let's say you do give him one more year, and it's the same thing. Because might as well just cut your losses now. I mean, but I think Vrabel's the guy, right? I mean, Patriots, born and bred. I think the Patriots need a type of coach like that. Mas hoorah, like the Lions. I miss Alberto's. Anyone but the Chiefs. Are there more Rams fans or Man City fans? I would say right now there's more Rams fans because I don't think there's a lot of Man City fans right now. They all became Liverpool fans as of this season. So I don't know if there's a Man City fan born before 2012. I will say that, but I digress. Good questions, guys, today. I think that does it for the football questions. We did the playoff predictions. We go to from football to football. Hong Kong te manda saludos. Hola Hong Kong, ¿cómo estás? Ojalá que todo esté bien, que este año te traiga felicidad. Ya estás casado, más serio. Pero Hong Kong siempre va a estar ahí cuando lo necesites. Hong Kong es un lugar que te entiende, te comprende. Siempre quiere oír lo que estás pasando en tu vida. Y es un lugar bien cariñoso, yo diría. Ojalá un día pueda tomar la oportunidad de vivir eso. Va. Saludos Hong Kong y a la esposa. Let's start with, I know. Let's start with my Kelsey. When we left the year, I was saying I don't want to think about title contention, but could we do it? Yeah. We've dropped points in the last 4 games, 3 ties and a loss, devastating ties, 2 devastating losses, and now we're 4th. I did say, as long as we're top 4, I'm happy, and I'm still happy. But I think this team, like, is still young. It's still young. They've made mistakes. Man, it's a love-hate relationship with Nicholas Jackson. When I see him, sometimes he pisses me off because This guy just sometimes he looks like a legit striker, and sometimes my boy can't score for shit. Um, but overall, I'm happy with my team, Chelsea. Like I said, they've compared to last year, they're 100 times better. Now, title contention, I think, is too early. Like I said, as long as we make it to Champions League, I will be happy. As long as they're competitive, if they're able to get great wins, I'm happy with it. Cole Palmer is the coldest of the Palmers. Him with Sancho, man, what a ball he put. What a game he had this past weekend. But mental mistakes. Sometimes our coach Maresca, as much as I've love his style of play, he just sometimes makes substitutions too late. He should, if Jackson isn't working, metan Kunku. I get it. Palmer at any moment could make a play, but sometimes he does get lost. Change it up. I think our midfield is solid though. Enzo with Caicedo. But it's just a young team making dumb mistakes, and you cannot make those mistakes if you want to compete, especially with the Liverpool, who did drop points, but with the Liverpool as experienced as they are, with the players they have, with a Mo Salah that's on fire, I don't think they pull through. Arsenal, by the way, they lost today against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup against an inspired Isaac. Arsenal, they are second place now. I give them that with 36 points, I believe. But also Arsenal, I mean, they're not going to compete as well. I think it's Liverpool's to lose. We can talk about Dani Olmo is getting registered. Psych, there's no money. I have your question here, Alberto. We'll get to the Dani Olmo saga, which I just I Arteta blamed them playing with a Puma ball. Haha, what a fucking joke. Did he really? Wow, that's you gotta be Nike or what? Right? Sometimes them Puma balls, they be different. Um, but Dani Olmo, look, I've never heard of this shit happening. Well, what's been happening with Barca? How they couldn't register a player in time, I guess, to meet whatever requirements needed, and now potentially he can walk, right? I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of they've been. It only happens to Barca. I've been seeing a lot of they're trying to make it work. They're trying to appeal all this and that. I think it's insane. I just don't understand. And I was talking to Pepe's about this. I don't understand how a team got this broke. Barcelona, like, where did the money go? Pepe's was telling me that they've made dumb contrataciones. They've overplayed both players, but still, I mean, it's Barcelona. It's like it's a brand. Like, do they not? I don't know. Like, do they not sell what they gotta sell? Do they not? I don't know. Maybe there's some fishy shit going on there, but the fact that you can't sign one of the players that the only player that you sign and he could walk for free, that's insane to me. That's embarrassing. That is not the Barcelona I knew growing up. But yeah, that's crazy that they cannot sign him. What happened to Barcelona is going to happen to Inter Miami and the MLS. No one's going to bat them an eye, let alone give the money. And Inter Miami, they knew what they got themselves into, right? Once Messi leaves or retires, unless they sign another player like that, it's Miami. There's other things. It's like in LA, right? There's other things you can do in Miami. Obviously, the draw is Messi. You want to go see Messi and friends. But once he's gone, what will Inter Miami be? Like, will it be? I mean, will those prices be that high? I doubt it. But I guess they want to collect all the money they can right now, which is hence, Alberto, we have these conversations all the time. Why they're in the World Cup of clubs? Because it's money. They're gonna bring eyes, they're gonna bring money. They just want to take advantage of that, make all the money they can, because they know in the future it's not gonna be there anymore. The opportunity, unless they sign like Mbappe or something in 10 years or 15 years. We will see. Pancho, if you're here, I'll shout out to Pancho, obviously, with baby Enzo. Obviously, friend of the show, Pancho. Congratulations to you and Fabi. Baby Enzo Palmer Sanchez. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the family. I know one day you will be rocking that Chelsea blue. I believe it. But Milan come back yesterday, beating Inter 3-2 to win the Italian Super Cup. And of course, just to rub it in, scored by the Chelsea boys, Pulisic and Abraham. They come back to win. They beat Inter to win the Super Cup. I believe they played in Saudi Arabia. It was a good game. Good highlights. They were down 2-0 with Lefrado Martinez scoring the first for Inter, and AC Milan coming back 3-2. Your questions. Let's see. We got your question. The Danny almost signed, but it's too late. It's too late. Oh, I forgot this one. Who should the Raiders go for at 6? I think yes, sir. Milan is red. I think they kind of messed themselves up by winning the last couple of games that they won at the end. They should have, because now it's going to be tough for them to get a quarterback. And I believe if it's not the first two quarterbacks, Sanders or Cam Ward, it's not much of a great quarterback draft. So I just say for Raiders, I haven't gotten into the draft. I'm going to get into it because obviously the Niners pick high. Best player available. If it's a tackle, if it's a defense. Right now the Raiders need whatever. They need just star players. Whatever player is there at 6, maybe if they could trade back, but just get best possible. Best possible. Okay, let's start with the best questions of the day as we wrap up the show. What is it about Marvel's Rivals that's so addicting? Thank you for this question. And it's probably because it's probably the best game ever invented in the history of the world. This game has cured my depression, my anxiety. It doesn't want to, I just want to play Rivals all the time with my friends. I want to play Marvel Rivals instead of going out and socializing. Why would I want to do that when I can play this amazing game? And the reason it's addicting is because, all jokes aside, I never played Overwatch. Puro dub, exactly. I've never played Overwatch. But just the fact that you're incorporating Marvel themed characters, right? And each Marvel character has a different ability. We have the tanks, the healers, the DPS. And you need to build a squad with different types of characters in order to take advantage and, whatever the objective is. If it's taking a payload to a certain destination or if it's holding a certain spot. And the beauty thing is it doesn't matter what characters, not one character. Obviously, there's characters that are better than others, but if there's a character you like and you're able to master him, it could work. It could work. I think the only character that's kind of sucks is Black Widow, but everyone else, if you master them, if you take time to practice, it can make it work, and it's fun. It's very fun, and I'm enjoying it. So if you guys haven't, I'm not sponsored by Marvel Rivals, but if Marvel Rivals, you want to sponsor me, I can definitely stream gameplay. But this is free promo for you guys. Download the game. It's fun. I'm enjoying it a lot. I have dreams about this game. I go to sleep and I feel like I'm still playing this game at work. All I think about is playing this game and how I can improve and how I can be the best Moon Knight in the world. So don't take it from me. Ask anyone right now that's playing it. They'll tell you download it. So Marvel Rivals. Top 5 characters in Marvel Rivals. Thank you again for this great question. In general or mine? So mine, number 1 for me, obviously the Moon Knight. We need a better We need a better MLTBH. What's ML? Did you try to say Moon Knight? Because I hope you did not try to say that because I'm the best Moon Knight in Redwood City. And I could say California. Number one for me, Moon Knight. That's my guy. Not just the best outfit, but you know how to play him, he dominates. But in general, right, I think number one is Hela, right? Hela, that's a popular character from Thor, just because, she doesn't have any drop off, I believe, and two headshots, insta kill. Hela's one. Number two, probably Mantis, if you're a healer, because she can not only heal, but also she hits hard. Pause. That's a pause worthy. But I would say Mantis is another one. Another popular one would be, obviously, now we'll see how it is with the buff, right? Wolverine. If you know how to use, just because he's annoying. He's annoying, fast, quick, can dive, can pull you, can throw you. That's another one. What else? Iron Man. Iron Man's one too. Just because he could just float around, fly around, zap you. He's hard to hit, hard to see sometimes. That would be a one that I would think is another top five character. What's a big one? I don't know about Luna Snow, just because of her. Not just because I use her, but because of her all. The fact that her all can switch from damage to healing, and then that all lasts for a long time. So I would say those are my top five characters. Um, Punisher and Doctor Strange combo OP. Doctor Strange, I forgot to mention. Punisher because he's easy to use. But Doctor Strange, if you know how to use Doctor Strange, which Pancho, he's our Doctor Strange of the group, also OP. So that's another. And I was gonna say Magneto comboed with Scarlet Witch because Magneto gets a special attack with Scarlet Witch that makes him OP. Top five annoying characters: Jeff, Iron Fist, Spider Man, Wolverine. I think those would be the top five annoying ones. Man, Iron Fist and Spider Man. I literally want to break my desk, my controller, when I hear or I hear the swinging. It gives me PTSD. I hate those characters with a passion. Um, Loki annoying too. If the player knows how to use Loki, he can be annoying. Yes, but Loki is also a liability against Moon Knight because when Moon Knight throws his boomerangs at those Loki clones, they ricochet and hit other players. So if I see a Loki on the other team, easy money. But yes, a Loki, someone that knows how to use Loki is annoying too. I think that's it for annoying characters. Number one, Iron Fist and Spider Man for sure. What one character would you like to see in Marvel Rivals? So obviously this week I believe we're gonna get the Fantastic Four, Human Torch, Sue Storm, Mr. Fantastic, and the Thing. I've seen gameplays for Mr. Fantastic and Sue Storm. I think Sue Storm is gonna be OP. She looks good, especially her all making players disappear around her. I'm interested. I'm interested in that one. Invisible Woman Clean. Yep, I'm very interested in that one. Very interested, especially pause. But the the rumor is after this upcoming, so this upcoming season is I believe Dracula imprisons Doctor Strange, takes over. So they're saying that after this season, the next character revealed is going to be Blade. So I was going to say Blade's going to be a cool one. I wonder what type of I'm most likely going to be a brawler. He'll have a knife. That would be cool. Obviously Deadpool. That would be a cool one. I had a list. For me, intriguing Nightcrawler. That would be an intriguing one because of his teleportation. Cyclops. What else? Daredevil. That would be a cool one. I'm trying to think big, like big clunky guy. Oh, Beast. He'll probably be a tank. Beast. How would they do Professor X? Gambit. You're right. I forgot Gambit. That would be a similar Moon Knight type player, right? With the cards. But if they make, you know what? I forgot where I heard this, but supposedly they would make Professor X like a payload. So you have, how he's in the wheelchair and that's shady. But the Juggernaut, Alberto, yes, Juggernaut, bitch. That would be Juggernaut and Colossus. Those would be tanks. But so, you know how there's that game mode, right, where we have to move the vehicle into a certain situation? Okay, you would move Professor X. That shit. Professor X, he would be like a healer, right? Um, don't want She Hulk. Okay. There's many. Oh, Doctor Doom. Yeah, Doctor Doom. That's another character that would be intriguing. Doctor Doom. I feel like there's so many, right? See, I don't know if would they even consider like Miles Morales? It wouldn't make sense, right? They already have Spider Man. It'll just be like a reskin. Thinking outside the box. Doc Ock, Doc Ock, Green Goblin with his Silver Surfer, Green Goblin, Rhino. That could be another tank. Bobby from X Men, Bobby Green, Bobby or Bobby Lee. You know what? La Rogue. La Rogue will be dope. There's a lot, and then it's that's what's fun about this game. Iceman, yep. There's just many characters to pick from. Many things yet to come. This game's barely starting. It's been a month out. Like I said, I'm thoroughly enjoying this game. If you'd like, if I could figure out, I'll figure it out. I can stream the game, show the gameplay with the team that we have, the amazing team that we have. If Trump had to pick 6 rivals players in the world to defend the U.S., they would pick us. So, like I said, this game is everything. Sometimes I forget that to eat to play this game. That's how addicted I am. So, with that, I leave you guys. Thank you again for an amazing show. I'm going to go play some rivals now. Tony, you working? Lock in. Let's hop on. Pepe said 8:30. I'm about to start right now. Pancho, you on tonight? Let me know. But have a great night, guys. Thank you again for the show. We'll be back next Tuesday. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Have a blessed week. Much love. I'm on tonight. Perfect. Peace out. Later.